Are you thinking about getting your real estate license in the state of Connecticut, but you just don't know where to start? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through a complete step-by-step guide so you know all the steps, how to get licensed and start your new career in real estate. My name's Chris. I've been a licensed real estate agent for the past 10 years. I'm also a team leader and real estate coach that's been able to help hundreds of people get started and get their license. Before we dive into the video, make sure to check out our complete guide, how to get licensed and start your real estate career. It's completely free to download down in the description below. Inside that guide, you're gonna get everything in this video plus a lot more. So make sure to check that out. I think it will be super helpful. Also, down in the description below, you're gonna find a link to the real estate school we recommend in Connecticut. It's called the CE Shop. With that link, you're gonna be able to access different sales and discounts. So make sure to check that out as well. They have some really great options on classes. So the very first step to getting your real estate license in Connecticut is you must meet some of the basic requirements. The first one is you must be 18 years old or older. You must have a high school diploma or a GED, and you must be a US citizen or a lawfully admitted alien. Another requirement that you must meet is the background check, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in this video. But if there's something on your record that might prevent you from getting licensed, such as a felony, make sure to reach out to the local real estate commission ahead of time and have that conversation up front. And if you have a busy schedule, you might be able to finish things much quicker if you choose this option. Now, during these classes, you're going to learn a lot of great things that you're going to need to pass your real estate exam with, such as real estate law, real estate math, real estate finance, the code of ethics. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you're going to learn. Before I got started in real estate, I was in a finance job and I kind of thought I knew quite a bit about real estate. But when I got involved with my real estate pre-license classes, I learned a ton of new things. So if you have an interest in real estate and you want to learn more, then these classes can be really good and they can be a great asset to expand your knowledge base and really, sharpen your skills in real estate and really learn a lot more about the topic. So it's not like it's a waste of time. You're going to learn a lot of great things that you're going to use to pass your exam, and then things that you're going to take on to use in your actual real estate career once you get licensed. The next step in this process is to schedule and pass your real estate exam. The exams are held by PSI Exams in the state of Connecticut, and to schedule, you can go on their website or give them a call. Just make sure to give them at least 24 hours notice in advance. A couple things you want to bring on test day would be 2 forms of identification. This can be a US passport, a driver's license, a debit card, a credit card, and you also want to bring a basic non-scientific calculator for the math portion of the exam. Make sure to bring that because when you get to the math section, it's really going to help you get through those questions at a much more efficient rate and give you some more confidence to pass. Now, when you get into the exam center on test day, you're probably wondering, what should you expect? Well, on test day, you're going to be met with a bunch of multiple choice questions. And I know multiple choice makes it sound like it's going to be easy, but these questions are written in a way that can be a little bit on the tricky side. So I want to give you some quick tips to get through this exam. The very first one is to read each question multiple times before you finally submit your answer. Because if you don't do that, your odds of failing go up dramatically because these questions are written in a tricky way and some of the answers look very similar and you might accidentally answer something wrong that you really knew the right answer to. So make sure to take your time and don't rush through this exam. If you rush through the exam, the odds of failing go up exponentially. So make sure to take your time. You have plenty of time to get through it. Now, the exam itself is made up of 2 different tests. You have a state portion of the exam and a national portion of the exam. Both of these are scored separately, so you can pass one and fail the other. Now, if this happens, you only have to come back and retake the portion that you failed. That's the good news. Now, a failing score on these exams is anything under 70%. Now, the good news is you're going to find out right away if you passed or failed. And if you failed the exam, don't quit. There are so many agents that end up quitting this process altogether because they failed the exam and they automatically think that they're going to be bad at real estate just because they failed one exam. The truth is, this exam has no correlation to whether you're going to be good or bad as a real estate agent. I know so many super successful real estate agents that failed the exam multiple times around. So don't quit if you fail. All it means is you have to go back and study a little bit harder and give it another try. Step number 4 is going to be completing your fingerprinting and background check. Now, during this process, what they're going to do is they're going to check your background and see if you have any criminal records that might prevent you from getting your real estate license. I know I touched on this a little bit beforehand, but this part of the process is one that you do have to get done before you actually apply for your license. So once you pass your exam, make sure to go out there and get your background check and fingerprinting done. In fact, you can even do this before you take your exam if you want to speed up the process a little bit. And that takes us to step number 5, which is applying for your license. The way you submit your application is through the Connecticut Department of Consumer Protection. To do this, what you want to do is you want to package up everything we've done so far. So we're going to take your completed pre-licensed education that's state approved. We're going to get your passing score to your real estate exam, and then we're going to get your background check and fingerprinting. What we're going to do is we're going to complete our application, package all this information up, and then send it out. Once that's done, we're going to move to step number 6, which is choosing your sponsoring broker. Now, in Connecticut, with a real estate salesperson's license, you must pick a sponsoring broker. And this part is one of the most important parts of the entire process, because if you pick the wrong brokerage and the wrong first mentor, you might set yourself way back, or you might even fail out of the industry. So I want to give you some quick tips to pick your first sponsoring broker. The very first one is to ask a couple basic questions. And the first question I would ask is, what kind of mentorship and training do you provide for new agents? Now, the first part of that question is mentorship. Ask them, do they have somebody that's experienced that's going to be able to help you through your first 3 to 5 deals and get you off the ground in this business? Because I can tell you firsthand, there's nothing worse than going through this process and feeling excited and nervous and anxious as a brand new agent. And then when you get to your first deal or the time you have to submit your first offer, you have nobody to lean on and help you through that process. So make sure to ask that question, and then ask when you're allowed to reach out to that mentor. Is it any time? Are you going to have a direct access touch point to their cell phone, or is it only certain days and certain times? Make sure to ask that question. The next question to ask is, what kind of training do they actually have set up for brand new agents? Do they have courses and classes that are specific to brand new agents? Because I can tell you firsthand, some classes that brokerages offer might go way over your head as somebody that's just trying to set up their business and get it off the ground. You might be in a class with top producers that are doing way different things, when you just want to figure out the basics, the fundamentals, and get your business to the next step. So make sure to ask that question. The next question to ask is, how are you going to help me market and grow my business? Did you know 87% of agents fail out of the industry? I heard that statistic and I was just blown away. That's a big failure rate. So the reason this happens is not because people don't like the business or they're not having a good time doing it. It's because they can't figure out how to get clients, and eventually they just burn out because they're not making any money. So you want to ask this question up front and come up with a game plan with this potential new mentor on how they're going to help you grow your business. And you want to make sure it's in alignment with the things that you want to do. You can take it one step further as well and ask if they have any teams or real estate lead programs within that brokerage. Because if you want real estate leads to start off with, then you might want to join a real estate team, and you can interview for those teams when you talk to your broker and he can make that connection. So make sure to ask that up front as well. And the third question is, what kind of splits and monthly fees are associated with being a part of that brokerage? Now, the first part is the monthly fees. Now, this is the more important piece. As a brand new agent, monthly fees can really sink the ship. This happens every single month, whether you close deals or you don't close deals. So I would definitely ask this question. Now, some brokerages have a $0 a month monthly fee. They just don't charge you to be there. Others have a small monthly fee, and then some have a large monthly fee. I've seen brokerages anywhere from $200 to $300 per month just to hold your license there. And this hits your account whether you're selling deals or not. So as a brand new agent, make sure to ask this question up front. Now, the second part to that question is the commission splits. Now, commission splits are important, but don't get too hung up on this. This was a huge mistake that I made when I first started out. I got so hung up on how much percentage I was going to make on each deal. And as a business person, it's a very smart question to ask. But if you find a brokerage that's going to give you support, mentorship, and training to actually help you be successful, you're better off paying a higher commission split to that brokerage to get that support. Because keep in mind, you're only going to pay the split when deals close. You're not going to be paying this split every month regardless. So you're paying for your education, and if they're helping you succeed as a brand new agent, it's well worth the commission split. But the best way to ask this question is to say, hey, if I make a $10,000 commission, how much of that do I actually get to keep? What am I going to take home? And this will cut through all the noise. It will break through all the royalty fees, all the things that are associated that might be extra add-on fees with closings, like broker review fees, and you'll find out what you're actually going to make. So if you want to find out what your splits are, that's the best way to get to the bottom of it. Now that you have all the steps to get your license, you probably have some questions. So I'm going to answer some of the top questions that I get on a regular basis because I think these will help you out too. The first question I get is, how much does it actually cost to get your Connecticut real estate license? Well, I would budget anywhere between $600 to $800 to get this done. All in all, considering the upside of this career, it's a very low barrier to entry. Now there's a range because it really depends on what brokerage you pick, what school you go to, and if you end up getting any different sales and discounts, or if you end up upgrading to any exam prep tools, which can be a super valuable thing to do. The next question is, how long does it actually take to get my Connecticut real estate license? Well, in Connecticut, because you only have 60 hours of state-approved pre-license education that you have to complete, it really doesn't take that long. And that's the good news. You can get this done within 7 to 14 weeks, really depending on how quickly you move, how motivated you are, and how dedicated you are to the actual process. The third question I get a lot is the real estate exam actually difficult? And the reality is the exam is difficult. A lot of people fail the first time around. Some people even fail multiple times before they ever end up passing. And some people never pass it at all. But it doesn't have to be that way. Back when I was going through this process, I was using boring textbooks. And I was just sitting in front of the textbook, just studying and studying and studying. And I was getting so aggravated because nothing was sticking. None of the information that I was reading was being retained. And eventually I started researching and trying to figure out a way to build that confidence. And what I found out is there's real estate study tools that can give you that confidence that you need. And the one I recommend is called CompuCram. There's a affiliate link down below to CompuCram if you want to check them out, and I highly recommend it. But what they do is they put you through test-like simulations, and it's a much more interactive way to study and learn all this material, because a lot of it mirrors what's actually going to be on the actual real estate exam, and you're going to get to do these practice tests that really build that confidence that you need. And when you fail, it's going to tell you why you failed, and then it's going to teach you exactly what you got wrong. So these tools were a game changer in helping me pass my exam. So I definitely recommend you check that out. And the last question I get is, can you do this part-time? And the answer is absolutely. I know so many people that do this career part-time, and I know people that do it full-time. Back when I started as a full-time agent. And a lot of people don't start out that way because they might not have a ton of money saved, or they just really don't trust the process of being on a 100% commission-only business. And that's entirely fine. I know some people that start part-time and they build a business where they do a couple extra transactions per year, they make some extra money, and they help a couple extra people with their real estate needs. And then I also know people that build a full-time business and they do very well over time as they put effort into the business and they really grow. So whether you want to be a top producer and you want to earn a really big income, or you want to do part-time and just, have a extra income stream, you can do either one. And that's the best part of the real estate business, is you get to design it exactly how you want because you're self-employed. So if you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. We have more content all about getting licensed and starting your career as a new agent. So make sure to stay tuned. Thanks again for tuning in.